This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Blue Sky Uranium, Mr. Niko Cacos. Niko, it's great to have you back on. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Gerardo. Always a pleasure to be on a program here with you.
It's it's been a bit since we chatted. We've been waiting for assays from the Ivana deposit in Argentina. You had a big step out hole that you just got results from. I would love for you to provide a bit of context on the hole. I understand that we still have assays pending, and I'm looking forward to those. But this was an important hole for you guys, right?
It was an important hole. I mean, just to step back a little bit, we initiated a drill program at the Ivana deposit where we already have a PEA and just under 23 million pounds of uranium and 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. The purpose of this drill program was twofold. One was to see if we could infill some drilling, so that we could increase the quality of the deposit. So that was one objective. And the second objective was, can we step out a little bit and see if there's a potential for this deposit to grow. And on both accounts, I can say we exceeded, our expectations. On the infill portion, as we moved out towards the margins of the deposit, we saw mineralization continuing to come in. So it gives us a lot of confidence that this deposit is going to hold nicely together. It will be very, very useful when it comes to doing our engineering studies. And then comes a surprise. We step out 1.5 kilometers southwest of the deposit, and lo and behold, we come back with a hole that's 0.15% uranium. And that, to put into context, is 5 times higher than the average grade of the PEA of the whole deposit. So it was very exciting to hit such a high grade result at that distance. So it brings into focus that there's more drilling that needs to be done outside here, but it also highlights that this deposit has an excellent potential to grow and become much larger than the 23 million pounds that it is right now.
Talk to me a bit about the vanadium component to the project, because it's also an important contributor, right, to potential economics if we're to make this a mine one day.
Absolutely. The vanadium is a very, very important contributor. It adds anywhere between 5 to 10% of the value of to the PEA that we did the economic study. But what was interesting is that the average vanadium that we're finding now is significantly higher than the average grade that was reported done in the preliminary economic study. So it looks like there's even more value there. So as we're going to begin to push and head towards pre-feasibility study in a few months with this project, there's potential here that this could be worth more than what it's worth now.
Looking
thought of, rather.
Right, which was already impressive given the current market cap for Blue Sky, right? Excellent.
That's right.
And so I understand we're still waiting on final results from the program, correct?
That's right. We're waiting for a final batch of just over 300 assays to come back from the lab. The turnaround in the labs is improving. The pandemic has caused a few delays as the samples need to be shipped to Canada in order to have them assayed, but things are beginning to pick up. And in the meantime, we're taking the drill rig and we're moving it up 10 kilometers to the north to start drilling another exciting area called the Ivana Central target. And this is the target that we've drilled before, and we got some very, very good results, and we're excited to get back to there and see if we can uncover another Ivana, so to speak.
I think it's important to highlight the fact that the Ivana deposit is a deposit within this Amarillo Grande uranium vanadium district, essentially, right?
That is correct. The Amarillo Grande project represents an entire new district in southern Argentina. It spans a length of 145 kilometers by 50 kilometers wide. It is enormous. And these things are not unique just to Argentina. We see the same kind of districts that occur in Kazakhstan. And in fact, geologically, there's a lot of similarities between the two. And this is what's exciting because, well, in Kazakhstan, they've been developing these districts for the last 50 years, and some of the world's biggest deposits are there. And in fact, that country supplies nearly half of the uranium around the world today because of its low-cost nature. And we're just at the beginning of all of this, and we seem to be on a very, very similar path. Very exciting.
We spoke earlier this year about uranium, and at the time, I believe the price of uranium was somewhere in the 30s, right? And I went on record saying that, look, the uranium bull market was just kicking off, that I believed, and I still do, that the utilities will continue to be asleep at the wheel, and eventually they're going to force an overshoot of the uranium spot price to over $200 a pound. I don't think that'll be sustainable, but I definitely think we're going to see that kind of violent upside that uranium bull markets tend to bring in. Here we are, a couple of quarters later, and uranium just broke through the $60 level. How do you see the space shaping up here for the remainder of the year there, Niko?
Well, I think you're right. I think the uranium price is going to continue to go up very quickly. It's the market for uranium. It's not that big, but the supply rather, but the demand for uranium is continuously going up, especially now in this time where climate change is important and we're seeking to, generate carbon-free electricity. Sure, wind power and solar power are good options, but they're not, they don't have that base load reliability that nuclear has. And there's a big wider acceptance right now that nuclear power is going to play it's actually playing a much more significant and larger role in generating carbon-free electricity. And this is really what's driving the demand around the world right now. So this is a demand that's not going to go away anytime soon. And, $200 a pound, I don't see that's dreaming. I think that's a real possibility.
Well, always good catching up. I'm looking forward to those final results. I think we're in for a heck of a bull run in the uranium space. And I know that working in Argentina is getting more and more appealing. I speak to several companies, whether in the copper space, the lithium space, or the uranium space, and everyone has spoke in glowing terms, especially recently, as to the labor and the quality of work and the government relationships that allow for companies like Blue Sky to get in there and explore this important district. Of course, the Grasso Group pioneered, mining and exploration in Argentina. So looking forward to the development of the project, looking forward to more results. Anything else to add to that, Niko?
No, I think you hit it right on the button. Argentina is one of the best places to be exploring, doing mining. I mean, through the Grasso Group and our last 30 years of involvement there has yielded a lot of successes for us, but especially with uranium, because Argentina is a nuclear country with a very well-developed nuclear industry, and they understand it. And, this is, we're seeing a lot of support for all the work that we're doing there. I think this is a very exciting time for Blue Sky's shareholders right now, because as we continue to drill, as we get additional results, this is revaluing the company, and then with the price of uranium continuing to go up, there couldn't be a better time to consider Blue Sky as an investment.
Before I let you go, Niko, I have to ask, I mentioned this last time, but the fact that you control a district, I got to believe that with the uranium price continuing higher, that your phone's been ringing a little bit in regards to potential, either partnerships, JVs, future offtakes, royalties. Are those discussions still being had?
There's lots of interest being generated, and they're not just tire kickers.
Well said, Niko. Looking forward to having you back on. Thanks again for the time. Always appreciated.
My pleasure.